Welcome to the 6th International Conference on Languages, Linguistics, Translation and Literature virtually that will be held on 9 to 10 October 2021, Ahwaz, Iran. The topic of the study is exploring second language learners' perceptions about collaborative learning and its impact on second language proficiency in Pakistan. My name is Naila Sakhawat and I am MSc Scholar of Mehran University of Engineering and Technology, and the study is done under the supervision of Syed Waqar Ali Shah, lecturer of Mute and PhD candidate. To begin with the introduction, the area of the current study is applied linguistics. The growing body of knowledge in applied linguistics has informed the ELT practitioners, teachers, and students about emerging teaching methodologies that impact second language proficiency. So previously, there was only the main focus on the teaching methodology was on the grammar translation method, but nowadays there are more teaching methodologies that are emerging out from the field of applied linguistics. So in this regard, Raja in 2012 argues that collaborative learning is actually a classroom management strategy that all the ELT teachers need to be practiced in, and the role of the teacher here is of a facilitator. So the teacher does not need to teach each and everything from A to Z in an ESL classroom, but teachers has to play a role of facilitator in which his function is to facilitate the students in which he or she is not able to do anything or on his own. So teachers encourage teamwork in the classroom by various methods. For example, by giving them review their own homework, making class papers every day, and participate in moderated discussions and to complete crafts. So there are various tasks in which teacher can include or can indulge or engage students in an communicative environment or in a collaborative task. So there are different tasks that teachers can make students to do. For example, teacher can give students homework, and then in the other class she can give them to review their own homework, or teacher can also make them review each other's work as well. So student personal experience and pure knowledge help in gaining and generating understanding in the interactive classroom. It is noticed that when students become in group activities, their personal experiences and their prior knowledge help them and generate understanding. Therefore, understanding EFL students' ideas for collaborative learning is effective way for language teachers not only to provide a relevant curriculum and environment, but also to improve academic progress. So the problem statement of the study is that, as we all know, that interaction, collaboration, and communication are the most vital aspects of an English as a second language classroom, as no any language is being of any use without communication. So there is no any language which is important without using it. So in order to make L2 learners learn the target language, so in this case the target language is English language, it is very necessary or important to provide them platform to use it or to communicate in that particular language. But as English is not the native language of ESL learners or English as a second language learning learners, they don't get that opportunity to practice or use it in an environment other than ESL classroom. So the platform to use that particular language or to use English as a language to communicate in that language is very limited for ESL learners, as they only get a chance to communicate in English language or to be proficient in that language. The platform is very limited, and that is ESL classroom. So it is very crucial and important to make ESL classroom very interactive and communicative for the students. So interaction among ESL students has always been a problem in ESL classrooms where students are multilingual and belong to different linguistic backgrounds. So the problem while engaging in collaborative learning tasks is that in ESL classrooms, students belong to different languages. They are multilingual. Like in an ESL classroom, they belong, some of the students are having their native language as Sindhi, some is having their native language Punjabi, Urdu or Pashto. So it is very difficult to engage all the multilingual students in a single group and make them work effectively and efficiently. As they belong to different linguistic backgrounds, they also belong to different culture backgrounds. So there are a barrier of different cultures, point of views and opinions as well. The aim of the present study is to investigate the perception of ESL learners about collaborative learning tasks and the impact such activities have on their second language learning proficiency. So related to the aim, the objectives of the study are to develop the insight about L2 learners' perception of the role of collaborative learning in improving L2 proficiency among students in Pakistan, and to determine the impact of such collaborative learning tasks on their proficiency of English language in second language learners. So, the questions that are related to the research objectives and the leading questions that has helped the researcher to conduct the data, to collect the data from the participants are: what is the perception of ESL students towards collaborative learning? And what is second language learners' perception with regard to collaborative learning, improving their English language skills? So researcher want to know or dig out the perceptions, opinions, or the feelings of the students related to collaborative learning tasks in ESL classrooms, and what they feel that whether such collaborative tasks are improving their English language skills or any of the skill of English language such as reading, writing, speaking, or listening or not. So Sidhu, Koi, and Lee in 2005 asserts that collaborative reading in the form of group discussions encourages students to produce creative work that stimulates deep thinking. This approach to learning continues to develop interpersonal and social skills among the students. Moreover, Yasmin and Naseem in 2008 declared that in present modern world, collaborative learning and digital learning development guidelines have become increasingly powerful in the integration of teaching settings that make the role of a teacher more demanding in class management. As I have already discussed that previously, the more focus is on GTM, that is grammar translation method, in which the role of a teacher is not of a facilitator but of a teacher. He or she may come in the classrooms, stand in front of the board, and can only provide extra information that he has about the related topic or the related content to the students. But when it comes to CL in ESL classroom, the role of a teacher is more demanding. Teacher does not only provide extra information about the content to the student, but he has to be facilitator as well. He has to know that where the student is lacking of knowledge and where to provide a guidance from his or her side and where to leave them alone to make the problem solved. And collaborative learning gives students opportunities to obviously develop their interpersonal skills, because as I told that in ESL in Pakistan, ESL classrooms, the students belong to different linguistic backgrounds. So as they are having different linguistic backgrounds, they belong to multi-languages, they share cultural diversity. So it continues and creates an environment there and can improve their ability to participate culturally. So collaborative learning focuses on mostly, it works on the independence, responsibility, confidence, motivation skills, and positive reliance needed to promote independence among the students. Also, CL has received strong support in educational circles over the past 20 years. It is a Western teaching tool that drastically shift the environment of the ESL classrooms from teacher-focused teaching methods towards the student-centered learning. Previously, the classrooms were mostly teacher-focused. The control is in the hand of the teachers in the classrooms, but now the classrooms are student-centered. So one of the most important aspects of a student's perception of co-writing is the development of cooperation between them in the learning process, which enhances their writing skills. The theoretical framework that is applied in this study is socio-culture theory that was given by Lev Vygotsky in 1934. Socioculture theory states that interpersonal communication enhances language development and learning through collaborative learning. So Vygotsky is having the opinion that collaborative learning is very essential in order to develop interpersonal communication skills among the students and for the development of language. And Vygotsky in 1978 gave the idea of ZPD, that is zone of proximal development. He discusses that it is an area in which a child has failed to solve a problem, but he accomplishes or achieves it and solves it under the watchful eye of an adult, suggesting that teachers need to do more than just do it design an environment for learners to discover for themselves. Students should be guided by definitions, demonstrations, and opportunities for collaborative learning. So here is a picture in which the red zone declares that declares the activities or the tasks that students are unable or incapable of doing on their own without any guidance. Then the purple zone shows that the part of ZPD in which the area in which or the problems in which the participant or the learner need a guidance of more knowledgeable other, a person who has more knowledge about that particular task or activity. And once he or she has get the chance of that guidance or get that guidance, the learner become able to do that particular or solve that particular task on their own without any help. So it all depends on the practice. First, students should be provided with the task that he or can do on their own, and then the difficulty of the task might be increases. Then teacher should have to notice that where the student can, which is the task that the student cannot be able to do, then provide that guidance, and that guidance can be from the teacher side and it can also be from the peer side as well. So the research methodology that is being used in that particular study is qualitative study, and the research site is University of St. Jamshoro in Pakistan, and the data was collected from 10 ESL learners, and these students were belong from graduation part 1 and BS part 2 students, and these were taking English language classes, and that is remedial and functional classes in University of St. Convenient sampling was used, and this data was collected from the semi-structured interview in which there were many prop questions and the leading questions were 5. So the findings or the results of the study was that most of the students declared that CL, that is collaborative learning, decreases their anxiety of language usage and help them to know each other more effectively. It creates understanding among them, and they don't feel fear to ask each and everything from teacher as they solve their problems for combined tasks. But they feel fear to get embarrassed in front of a peer in collaborative class. So students enjoy collaborative learning very much as it reduces their fear and anxiety to get insulted, because they discuss the difficult topics with each other, with the group or with their friends. But when it comes to present the ideas in front of a class, they feel embarrassed because they feel that if they put an idea that is not related to the others, or if they put the idea to which other students may not agree, then they feel embarrassed in that. And the students assert that teacher pay focus mostly on the active learner. So students assert that teachers may focus on their all the skills of English language learning, but when it comes to the writing skills, the students feel anxiety as they feel that the teacher are going to test their writing skills. So the test factors actually make them fear. Some students also feel anxious to present discussed topic in front of the teacher or whole class. They feel more comfortable in their group. So students have declared that when it comes to our writing skills or the activities related to the writing, they feel fear because it causes a factor of testing. And another is that discussion among group is quite fine for them, they enjoyed it. But when teacher asks them to discuss any topic and then ask any of the member or the whole team to come in front of the class and put their ideas or put their presentations in front of the class, they feel quite uncomfortable because they are comfortable in their own groups. They don't like to discuss it openly in front of the teacher or the whole class due to the embarrassment. But however, the responses were, they all agreed that CL is improving their reading and writing skills. There are some negative aspects that were discussed by the students or participants about pair and group task activities, that they assert that active learners do not give chance to slow learners to share their views regarding topic with teachers. Teachers pay more focus on active learners and appreciate them. Slow learners find difficulty to match the level of fast learners. Sometimes students are more anxious to talk each other due to bad experience they had inside or outside the classroom. So it is very important for the teacher to bring the students in a group where they share good terms with each other. So in case of having bad experiences with each other will lead to the negative results of the task as well. And some positive aspects of pair and group work that has been showed with the results were that learners get platform to practice English language. Learners become more aware about their learning process. So learners get to know their own learning process, that how to learn the target language, and also they learn different learning strategies from each other. And learners enjoy to solve the particular task with collaboration of one another, and through teachers' feedback, they get to know about different learning strategies of one another. They don't get bored as they involved in a communicative and interactive environment. So there is no any element of sleepiness or bored. It helps them to take responsibility of their own learning. Collaborative learning tasks make them responsible and independent. So parent group task activities develop confidence among the students to share their opinion with one another. They get to know each other even more better during communicative tasks. So in communicative tasks or interactive tasks, as the students belong to different linguistic and cultural backgrounds, they get to know each other more about each other. So they enjoyed it. So the conclusive remarks are second language teaching and learning environments of multiple elements can represent real barriers to any form of English language learning that takes place, such as student disobedience, apathy, reluctance to work together, anxiety, and frustration. In this regard, some researchers have discussed the words of Krashen in 1981, which asserted that if the student's affective filter or anxiety was too high, then they would find it difficult to consider Krashen's understable inputs as a learning requirement that should occur. So it is very important for a teacher to first, decreases the fear of the students about collaboration and then initiate the task. To help students reduce their anxiety level and learn better, it is very important to plan and create a working environment for CL. So it is important for teacher just not only to put the students in a group and give them activity, but first to create a working environment for CL and then to engage them in such interactive tasks. By investigating learners' perceptions of cooperation in language learning can create opportunities to develop language skills and build new knowledge and relationships within and outside the classroom, as well as in places where there are no classrooms. So here are a few recommendations for the teachers. In the context of Pakistan, second language learning and teaching are difficult processes to carry out. As the students belong to different multilingual backgrounds, it is the responsibility of English language teacher to create communicative environment in a classroom and engage all the students in active and interactive learning processes. Teachers should not only focus on language skills of their students, but also involve them in tasks that require critical thinking and make learners able to use their cognitive abilities. And it is obviously a responsibility of a teacher to not only appreciate active learners, but also facilitate and encourage slow learners so that they get motivated. So here are a few references that are being used in the study. And in last, I thank you all for listening.